Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Blu Ray Hunter. I'm the Blu Ray Hunter, Jonathan Moody, and I've got a fun show for you guys. So I've seen a lot of people doing this, so I thought, I'm kind of stealing other people's ideas. I'm sorry, but if you guys have some cool ideas, and content that I can, also do, that's awesome. Like, I think we all should be sharing. And so this sort of helps, but I'm going to be doing, my rankings of two different piles. So the first part will be uh my non-Criterion. So everything that I watch in July from that's not Criterion. And then later I'll have another video all for the ones that I watched for Criterion. So I watch a lot more of Criterion than anything else. Mainly because it was Criterion month, I was buying stuff. So a lot of it is stuff I bought and I wanted to check out. So without further ado, we're going to do our non-Criterion first, then do our Criterion video we'll release on Friday. So here we go. Here we go. So I have a bunch of different boutique labels and I've been wanting to watch a bunch of them. And this one I did for 80s horror films. I think it's going to be out in August. It is Slaughter High. And it's my least favorite of the movies. And I'll tell you why. And I'll go into each why these are my least favorite. But this movie's just, it's fun, it's cute, it's enjoyable. I mean, I know if it's cute, but it's enjoyable. It's something I can watch, and I can laugh at, and I can enjoy, and I can, but it's not anything that like, when you see the rest of the movies, you'll see, oh yeah, okay, that's why Slaughter High is down below. And it's like even my least of my horror films that I watched and everything. So there you go. Slaughter High. By the way, I'm only doing the movies that I watched on Blu-ray. I'm not including things I watched on like any movies I watched on streaming. One day I may do like a ranking of the streaming movies I watch or something. I don't even remember what movies I watched for streaming. But I figured since this is a physical media channel, we should strictly, adhere to just movies I watched on Blu-ray or 4K. So next is another Blu-ray that I watched and I reviewed before August rolled around and everything, and it's gonna be up. The review is gonna be up on Horror Film Lovers, I think this week. And it is Intruder. Intruder. Now I definitely liked it better than Slaughter High. And it's down below because that's a great movie, but it is not my favorite slasher. It has moments that are so great because of the effects that are in it, but the acting was fine. The direction was good and entertaining, but all in all, I just thought this movie was sort of like, I feel like they could have had more fun with it. Maybe budget and restraints and stuff for a little. And then I think the other thing I didn't like about it really was like where it went at the end. Like I get it, they wanted to have a twist at the end, but I just didn't buy it. And maybe when I first watched it, I sort of thought that was funny, but like now I'm just looking at it going, okay, this just became like fantasy in a way. If you watch the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. So after that, we did this for Patreon only, and I had to go out and buy the movie. So Dagon, Dagon. It's on a Vestron one, just like Slaughter High. Thank God for these things because they got like special features that I want to dive into. They've got a ton of cool stuff going on in there. I mean, audio commentary with director Stuart Gordon and screenwriter Dennis Paoli. Like, I'm surprised Brian Usna isn't on that, but there's interviews with everybody, and I mean, just fantastic stuff. It's a great thing, but once again, it isn't the greatest movie. It's just out of those three movies, that's the better movie of all the horror films. I don't think any of the rest are horror films. No. So the rest are really, really, really good movies. So this is gonna be this is gonna be hard, and in fact, it was hard to sort of rank these because if you look at like my letterbox, a lot of these are like 4.5, or 5. The 5 obviously get up there, better, but like which of the 4.5 and which of the 5 stars do I like, the best, and how can I rank them? First up is a Kino. Actually, are all two, three of these are Kinos, and they're 4Ks. So The Apartment, which I absolutely adored. I love this movie. If you haven't seen it, I did a review of it, and I enjoyed it the hell out of it. It's a fun movie. It is about a guy who lets his and for the 60s, this is very it's racy, but he lets his basically, like, it feels like it could be made for today, honestly. But he basically rents out his room as a hotel room for the night to his friends, and like doesn't rent them out, like they don't pay, I don't think. I think he just knows, like, if and he does this not to his friends but to his bosses at work, and he knows if he's up for basically a promotion by letting them basically rent out the room for like a hotel for the night so that they can cheat on their wives with other women and stuff. And uh maybe it couldn't be made today because like not a lot of people would tolerate that kind of like thing. But I wouldn't be surprised if something like this actually happened in real life, if people were doing stuff like this. And anyway, later, he falls in love with this girl who's actually in a semi-relationship with a married man. And, things happen, whatever. And he's just, oh man, it's Jack Lemmon. He's such a lovable schlub. And it's got the early Shirley MacLaine, and oh, I absolutely adore her in this movie. She's just so cute and just adorable. And yeah, I love the movie a lot. Like I really did. Um, so it's tough when I'm saying that this isn't the best of the best, sadly. Um, Next is a movie I thought was going to be the best. I thought this was going to be the best, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be you know, this is gonna be up there and everything. It's up there, but it's not the best. And it is In the Heat of the Night, which, yeah, so this is actually getting to our 5 stars, I believe. Like all three of these are 5 stars. That was the apartment was 4.5, and Dagon was probably 4, in my opinion. Uh, Intruder was probably 3.5, and Slaughter High I would say 3 stars. Um, So yeah, so not like anything in the like these are terrible. And I don't think even the Criterion there's going to be ones that I'm gonna say are terrible. There's still going to be like 3 something stars, like 3 or 3.5 stars above. This year, I mean this month I just watched a really good group of movies. So In the Heat of the Night, very racial, very you know, very good movie. And I thought, oh man, this is like one of Sidney Poitier's best movies. And it is. But he also did another movie at the same time that I think is a better movie. And I just watched it. And it's all called Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. And I think that movie should have won Best Picture, honestly. But I mean, that was a tough thing. Like this won Best Picture over like The Graduate and Bonnie and Clyde and what was the other one? Dr. Dolittle, So like that was a great group of movies, like that's a great year. So 1967, and it was the 1968 Oscars. So that's just fantastic. But this movie was great. It had a very good message and I loved it. But I think Guess Who's Coming to Dinner was done better, in my opinion, and more entertaining and more thought-provoking in a way, because it's not just about dealing with working with a different race at that time, but that was about interracial relationships and how we get past the black and white, of it all. This is so good too. This fantastic. So Rod Steiger does such a great job. Norman Jewison directed this film, and from what I remember hearing, a Jewish director directing a movie about race, stuff like, I mean, you just didn't see stuff like this. And I think this is an amazing movie. And the beautiful thing about this, and I've talked about this on I think multiple different reviews of this kind of thing, whatever, showing this off, but it's also got the organization and They Called Me Mr. Tibbs, the two films that came out after this that were like sequels with Sidney Poitier. There's also a TV show, In the Heat of the Night. So where Carol Connors, who gives a very, I mean, Rod Steiger version, and everything, but I prefer Carol Connors honestly as an actor. Rod Steiger did okay, but he didn't blow me away. Who blew me away was Warren Oates being in this movie, and oh man, he was great. Just a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, I suggest seeing it. Criterion has a version on Blu-ray where you can get this 4K, where you just get the movie and you get some special features and the two different films. So, with that being said, here is the movie that I didn't know was gonna beat it, but in my opinion is better, and it's still a damn good movie. I mean, that's still a damn good movie. But this, whew, 12 Angry Men. So I saw this back in Law and Society class, and I think I talked about that in my review. This movie blew me away. Just And I'm into movies where the people just talk. Some people aren't. Some people aren't in that kind of play like atmosphere, and I love it. But man, this movie was this powerful. Was this, it raised some really good questions about how we as a society view people, and especially today. We live in a society, I think, still today, that's very guilty before proven innocent, or whatever. And instead of innocent before proven guilty, and we still like, if we think first, oh yeah, that person definitely did it, without looking over the facts and checking everything. And what they the ending of the movie I won't ruin, but it just, like, all of it together, it builds up this amazing scene. And was it Sidney Lumet? Yeah, Sidney Lumet directed this, and this wasn't the only Sidney Lumet movie I watched this this month. But I'm the more I watch Sidney Lumet, the more I realize how much I adore his movies and stuff. Prince of the City, we did for Film Freaks, and I had to buy that. I mean, he's Serpico. Yeah, I mean, he's directed so many. I'm gonna be watching that this month for August because, I bought that recently. So I'm gonna do that. So yeah, there's so much cool stuff and so many good movies and whatnot. And Kino Lorber, thank you for putting these out. I mean, these three right here in 4K are just phenomenal. And I'm so happy to have them in my collection because they're so powerful and they're so good and they have such a great message and stuff that, like, honestly, you just don't see today, because you see these superhero movies and there's really no clear message, and everything. And they need to get back to storytelling like this. So, and last, but definitely not least, because it's my favorite, and it's the second time I watched it. First time I watched it, I think I didn't even watch the whole thing. I think I left because I was bored when I first watched it, which sounds terrible. But when you see what it is, you might understand. It is I thought it was going to be originally a laugh out loud comedy. I thought it was going to be really funny, and no, this is a black satire. This has a lot of it has funny moments in it, but that is not it is not so funny, funny, funny. There are scenes, there's a few scenes that are really like laugh out loud funny, but the whole movie isn't like that. And it's not meant to be like that. It's meant to be a story that's told and everything. And that is Doctor Strangelove, or how I learned to stop worrying and love the bomb. This movie on 4K from I think Sony, Columbia Pictures, Sony, I think maybe even Lionsgate. Well, Sony Pictures put it out. Fantastic. Just blew me away. This movie is so good. It's got so many great special features. It's in 4K, looks beautiful in 4K, sounds amazing in 4K. It is just a wonderful movie. If you haven't bought it on 4K yet, please upgrade to 4K if you have a 4K player because you won't regret it. Even if you don't have a 4K player, buy the 4K movie because it still has the Blu-ray in it. Still has the Blu-ray in it and has the digital code. Hope I did not show. But so it has the Blu-ray in it, so you can buy the Blu-ray of it anyway. So you'll have it. But then when you get a 4K player, you can put it in 4K TV. You can put this on. Um, just amazing. I don't even need to probably tell you guys anything about it. If you are into movies, you know this movie. It is something is also on Criterion, but it's on a Blu-ray on Criterion. It does have a lot more extras than this does. I mean, not a lot more, but different extras than this one does. So I'm eventually gonna buy the Blu-ray Criterion, but man, oh man, is this a classic and a movie that well, like I said, I think I was bored about it because I knew nothing about the Cold War. I still know barely anything about the Cold War. I am not a historic junkie. But I do love watching movies about the Cold War because we were at a time where everything was so panicky and scary and nobody knew what was going to happen. And it brought some really interesting movies out, and Doctor Strangelove is one of them. And another one we're going to talk about is on my list for Criterion Films. So wait for that episode and you can find out what my ranking is for that one. But yeah, there's and I'll give you a little bit more background on that too. But aside from that, everybody just thank you guys so much for checking this out. That was all the movies. Let me show you guys. Are they all like that? Yeah. That's all the movies that I watched. I did not watch as many movies as I wanted to. Actually, I did. A lot of them were Criterion too. So I had 7 movies that I watched that were 7 movies. I'm gonna have to start making lists because I kept forgetting ones and I had to keep putting them in there. So but I will, I'll write out a list and have it for next month. So next month I can do this again. If you guys enjoyed this, please click like and let me know. And out of all of these, I mean, is there one that you like better? I mean, do you like In the Heat of the Night better than Doctor Strangelove or The Apartment more than 12 Angry Men? I mean, or whatnot. Tell me what you guys think. Because it's fun for me, but like it's more fun to hear from you guys and to find out if you guys enjoy these movies as much as I do, and stuff. So, oops, I forgot to have this one. So there you go. All the movies, all the movies that I did. So there you go. I'm not gonna put that on the screen there because what would be the point? Then you wouldn't want to watch. You wouldn't need to watch this. You could just look at the what I have. But thank you guys so much for checking this out. Let me know what you guys think and tell me if these were movies, what was your favorite of all of these movies, And until then, everybody, bye.